Welcome back to the deep dive. We've just waded through a stack of source material that honestly reads like some kind of high-stakes international martial arts thriller.
It really does. This isn't just dry reports. It's a look inside a major Interpol operation involving their Asian task force, the potential for global financial meltdown, and, well, some pretty surprising uses of history as a smokescreen.
Right, so our mission today essentially is tracking Detective Alain Bannion from Interpol. Now, he's a world-class martial artist, but his immediate focus, it's intensely personal. He's desperately searching for his kidnapped daughter, Emily.
And what's really striking, I think, is how quickly this personal crisis just explodes into something much, much bigger. A global threat, really.
That's the pivot, isn't it? Emily's abduction, it wasn't random at all. The sources link it directly to her own investigation into her mother Jane's death in Seoul, which happened 10 years prior and always looked suspicious.
Exactly. So this family tragedy becomes the loose thread that unravels this enormous criminal enterprise.
Almost instantly, yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, Banyon's search quickly exposes the Harangi Corporation, the Tiger. It's this huge, sophisticated Korean mafia
The
syndicate.
Hawk Pay Group, right.
That's the term, yeah. And the sources are clear. Harangi wasn't just some local outfit. Their operations were tangled up with legitimate finance to such a degree they were actually threatening global stability. The layers of deception are quite something.
And you get the sheer brutality of it straight away. Banyon's first run-in is at Northumberlandia Park, near the Lady of the North sculpture. He's up against these two killers, clearly professionals.
And the tone is set immediately. One of the guys, cornered, bites down on a hidden cyanide capsule.
Yeah.
In a false tooth. Kills himself right there.
Just like that. No hesitation.
None. That kind of extreme commitment tells Bannion this isn't your average street gang.
Hey.
And then they find the tattoo on the other, the one they captured, the 13-striped tiger. That's the first solid link to the Jopak pay structure.
So for you listening, Jopak Pay is basically the umbrella term for organized crime groups in South Korea, kind of like the Tong or Yakuza elsewhere. So we've gone from, a missing person case in the UK to high-level international organized crime within hours.
And that trail pointed pretty quickly towards the Harangi Corporation using legitimate businesses as fronts. The sources mentioned this martial arts expo they were running, or at least using, at the Craigside estate.
Craigside, isn't that the first house lit by hydroelectric power? Bit of an odd place for a martial arts expo tied to gangsters?
Well, that's why it's clever, you see. It's remote, has complex grounds, historical significance. It's actually pretty good cover for moving people or assets without attracting too much attention.
Okay, makes sense. But what was the official reason, the cover story, for them being interested in Craigside?
Get this. They were supposedly hunting for a mythical object called the Nirvana Stone. The sources describe it as being like 100 years older than the Holy Grail.
Right, hold on. If their real game is global finance, why are they chasing ancient myths? Seems like a waste of resources.
But that's the genius of it, or the cunning anyway. The Nirvana Stone hunt, it was a total red herring. Classic misdirection.
So they deliberately leaked info about this stone.
Exactly. To tie up Interpol's resources, make them chase shadows while the real operation continued. And Emily's kidnapping, it turns out, served the exact same purpose.
Wow, so it wasn't about ransom, not really. It was a calculated move by the leaders, Daehan and his son Eric, just to pull Bannion, Interpol's top guy on this off-the-reel scent. That's a cold.
It shows you the level of planning involved. And we know this detail largely thanks to a hacker named Edison Wang who surfaced in the investigation.
Right, Wang, what did he uncover?
He peeled back the layers on Harangi's financial dealings. We're talking incredibly complex offshore accounts, shell companies set up with trustees who were already deceased, so instant liability wipe, and these bizarre transactions using things described as sub-cryptocurrency and NFTs, basically manipulated digital assets.
That sounds almost impossible to trace, like state-level financial warfare.
Pretty much. But ironically, the investigation into Emily's kidnapping, even though it was meant as a distraction, led Interpol right into a disaster.
You mean the raid?
Yeah, the raid on the Scholars Retreat in Biker. It was set up as this fake meditation center, another Harangi front. But they knew Interpol was coming. They were waiting.
In an ambush.
A deadly one. The moment the task force moves in, Commander Coral Douglas, she's the head of the Asian task force, Banion's boss, she's killed instantly. Grenade thrown from a passing motorbike.
So the leak about the retreat, the information that led them there, it was deliberate bait.
It seems so. Looking back, the strategy appears to be that Daehan, who had presented himself as this potentially cooperative source with links to Banion's late father-in-law, Kang Lee, he fed them that information.
He used Bannion's personal connection, his focus on Emily.
To lure Interpol into a trap. It destabilized the entire task force, took out their leader, all while Harangi's main financial plot was moving forward. It's deeply manipulative.
Okay, so that's the moment the personal tragedy really does escalate into something threatening, well, everything. Let's shift to segment 2 then. What was Harangi actually shipping that needed this massive, deadly smokescreen?
Right, so the focus shifts when they finally break this financial troubleshooter, a guy named Nicholas Wilson. He reveals the real cargo Harangi was moving, something called zombie microchips.
Zombie microchips. Okay, that sounds traumatic. What are they? What do they actually do?
Yeah, it sounds like something out of a movie, but the source material is terrifyingly specific about the tech. These aren't just, computer chips. They're designed to infect bank accounts.
Oh.
Through compromised ATMs, contactless payment points, basically any connected financial terminal. Once inside a system, they spread like a virus, a digital contagion, corrupting accounts across the entire network.
And the goal?
If deployed widely, simultaneously across major global banks, it could trigger a total systemic collapse. A financial apocalypse, as Wilson put it, all the wealth rerouted to a single controlling entity. Harangi, basically.
My God. Holding the world's economy hostage. And the creator, Dr. Sajinder Gupta.
Yes. Turns out he was a former Ministry of Defense scientist. Apparently, he developed this tech, or the basis for it, and wanted a huge government grant to take it further, potentially as a defensive measure.
But they turned him down.
Rejected him flat out. So he went rogue, took his research, weaponized it, and sold it to the highest bidder, which was Harangi. His motive seems to have been pure revenge against the system that he felt undervalued him.
There's always a human element, isn't there? But the human cost of this operation, it keeps mounting. We need to talk about Captain Stavros. His ship, the Sally Mae, was used to transport these chips, right? Before Dehan's people raided it at North Shields Marina.
That's right. Stavros cooperated with Interpol afterwards. Yeah. He knew how dangerous these people were and tried to get his family safe back in Greece. Interpol sent protection.
But it wasn't enough.
No. The enemy's reach was just too long, too ruthless. His family, wife, kids, they were assassinated, killed by a bomb.
And the method. It was disguised as a pizza delivery, wasn't it?
Yeah, a bomb in a pizza box.
Oh,
it's chilling. It just underlines the brutality, the psychological terror Harangi used. They could get anyone, anywhere, send the most brutal message imaginable.
A complete betrayal of any hope Stavros or Interpol had of protecting them. But did this tragedy yield anything useful for the investigation?
In a grim way, yes. The increased scrutiny on Dehan after this, combined with evidence found at his residence, finally confirmed his direct link to Dr. Gupta.
And crucially,
They found the location of the mother computer. This massive power source and control hub needed to activate the zombie chips and launch the attack. It was hidden in a disused power station up in Blythe.
okay, so the game changed again. It wasn't just about Emily or avenging Commander Douglas anymore.
No, now it was a race against time. Stop the financial doomsday weapon before Dehan could flip the switch and basically hold the entire world ransom.
Right. Let's get into that final confrontation at the Blythe Power Station. Bannion operates by this strict martial code, a code of honor. But to get into that power station, he needs help from, let's say, less honorable allies.
That's the tension, isn't it? His code is rigid, but the stakes are apocalyptic. Save his daughter, save the world. Sometimes you have to make difficult choices. He makes a pragmatic one.
He uses a local gang leader, Nick Schlanigan.
And his crew, yeah, to create a diversion, a very loud diversion.
What did they do?
According to the sources, Flanagan's crew rolled up and blasted the Geordie anthem, the Bladen Races, at full volume outside the perimeter, just in pure chaos. Sirens, shouting, the music.
Effective, I imagine.
Very. It drew all the security attention to the main gates, allowing Bannion and their partner Kent to slip in relatively unnoticed elsewhere.
But inside, Bannion gets a surprise, doesn't he? About Emily.
A huge surprise. He finds her, but she's not tied up waiting to be rescued. She's already freed herself and is actively fighting Dehan's militia.
She's got skills, her father's daughter and her grandfather's granddaughter too, right? Kang Lee's influence.
Absolutely. The sources detail her using taekyon, that's the traditional Korean martial art, lots of fluid footwork and low kicks. She's using precise yep-chagi, side kicks, and even sun mok sol, which is joint manipulation, wrist locks.
To take down multiple guards.
Yes. And she's protecting Kent, Bannion's partner, who got injured during the infiltration. His leg gave out. She's not just surviving, she's fighting tactically.
Incredible. Meanwhile, the whole harangue operation there is falling apart.
Completely. In the chaos, Dr. Gupta gets killed by his own lead henchman, a guy named June, and the mother computer facility itself is rigged to blow.
So Banyan goes after the leaders, Dahan and Eric. They escape the power station.
They do, but Banyan pursues them to a nearby dojang, a martial arts training hall. And this is where everything converges: family history, rivalry, revenge.
Because Kang Lee shows up, Banyan's father-in-law.
He does. He feels responsible, in a way. His past rivalry with Dahan inadvertently brought this tiger, this harangue corporation, into their lives years ago. He's there to restore the family honor, face Dahan himself.
And the fight is described as pretty brutal.
Intense, pure martial arts showdown. Banyan has to intervene at a critical point. He throws a Pyanjip that's a star-shaped shuriken, a throwing star to knock Dahan's pistol away, just as he's about to finish Kang Lee.
Okay, so Dahan is disarmed. What about Eric?
Well, this leads to perhaps the most chilling moment. Eric, Dahan's son, he's pinned down, knows it's over, and he tries to save his own skin. He actually offers to betray his father, sell him out to Interpol for immunity.
He begs for a deal.
Yeah. But Dahan, he just looks at his son, calls him a coward, and shoots him, executes his own son point blank.
Chow, no hesitation. His twisted code was more important than his own family.
It seems so. Absolute ruthlessness right to the very end.
So after that horror, Dahan is arrested. The immediate threats are gone. Gupta, June, Eric are dead. The Blythe facility is destroyed.
The financial apocalypse is averted. But when you step back and look at the whole operation, cyanide capsules, multiple assassinations, these elaborate decoys with historical artifacts, a near global catastrophe. And it all stemmed from a daughter trying to find out what happened to her mother. The scale is immense.
And Banyan gets promoted to commander, takes over the task force. Emily and Kent are safe. Seems like a resolution, but there's a final twist with Dahan, isn't there?
There is. It's quite bizarre, actually. While Dahan is in custody, awaiting transfer, he's killed, assassinated.
In custody?
Why?
By who?
The sources are cryptic. They refer to the killer only as the old man and explicitly link him to Yomra.
Yomra. That's the Korean god of the underworld, the judge of the dead, right? What are we supposed to take from that?
Well, it strongly suggests there's another layer of power, doesn't it? Something even above Dahan, maybe within the highest echelons of this global criminal network. Kind of internal justice system, or maybe just cleaning house, that operates completely outside the reach of Interpol or anyone else. The shadows remain, even after the main threat is gone.
A seriously unsettling implication. Okay, but before we wrap up, we have to touch on Captain Stavros again. His story provides our final provocative thought for you, the listener.
Right, Stavros. He lost everything his family murdered because of his involvement, however unwilling. That pizza bomb, it broke him, or perhaps reforged him.
He becomes, as the sources quote him saying, the man who has nothing, as he has nothing left to lose.
Exactly. He returns to his home, this Greek shanty town, gets armed, and basically declares war on the local mafia elements who facilitated Harangui's operations there. He starts hunting them down.
So our final question for you listening as you think about all this. Stavros' campaign of vengeance. He's targeting the very criminal infrastructure that enabled the murder of his family, a system that official justice couldn't touch or protect him from. Is what he's doing a form of necessary, if chaotic, justice? Or is he simply creating a new, dangerous cycle of violence, becoming the very thing he's fighting against, perhaps creating the next problem for Commander Banyan's rebuilt task force? Something to think about.